The back door crying. She said, son, you got a home just as long as I've got mine. I left my baby standing in the back door crying. Yes, I left my baby standing in the back door crying. She said, son, you got a home as long as I've got mine. When I leave you, baby, count the days I'm gone. When I leave you, baby, count the days I'm gone. Well, there ain't no love, there ain't no getting along.
Throughout the many years of San Francisco's vibrant history, neighborhoods have undergone vast changes that have influenced the lives of the thousands that have lived there. Among the most affected is the Fillmore district, a neighborhood in the western addition of the city that has undergone many changes in its people and character. A neighborhood once rich in culture has seen a transitioning of its personality as a consequence of gentrification. What we see here is an example of the increasing affluence in the area. What was once a predominantly Asian and black neighborhood has become a trendy place to live for many wealthy white people. The reasons and causes behind this transformation is seemingly simple in its parts, but complex in its intentions. Redevelopment of single-family homes in the neighborhood into affordable housing projects, while indeed attempting to aid poor families, has instead racialized the neighborhood. With the recent technology boom in the Bay Area, gentrification has become an increasingly hot topic of debate.
I think gentrification is a good thing because it takes essentially bad neighborhoods and turns them into fairly nice neighborhoods. I think redevelopment has been a bad thing a lot of times for San Francisco. And there are two different things. Redevelopment is when the city becomes a developer. Gentrification is when people in the neighborhood start going into a neighborhood that is lower income and start making it into a higher income area. Thus they get Starbucks on the corner all of a sudden, you get chain restaurants, you get all kinds of services for people with higher incomes.
And with these increased paychecks comes wealthier and more exclusive lifestyles. The wealthy that move in bring these material desires and turn the mom and pop stores that once defined the Fillmore into posh boutique clothing shops and restaurants. If this really is indeed what is happening in the area, then what motivates these poor families to stay and live in this increasingly rich area?
I think a lot of it is affordability. A lot of the black families, they may only have a one income family. San Francisco is very expensive. You need probably a two-income family to live here. It's very expensive to live in San Francisco and raise children in San Francisco, and I think many people in the black community are going to places where it's more affordable to raise a family.
What was once a fairly large part of the city has, over the years, been reduced to just a few dozen square blocks, as we see here. The location of the Fillmore in relation to the financial district downtown makes it very desirable to live for white-collar workers.
The Western Addition of Fillmore is like prime real estate, you know what I'm saying? It's like in the perfect location for people who like who work downtown, you know what I'm saying? Because like it's 5 minutes from downtown, you know? And then, so like, of course like the rent is gonna go up. There's laws against like raising the rent crazy, but the rent slowly, gradually, it gets higher and higher, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know, and I guess in attempt to like get that housing back so they can turn it into something else.
To those in the redevelopment agency, this is commonly referred to as urban renewal. City planners, in hopes of enlarging profitable areas within the city, seek out what they call blighted neighborhoods that are geographically advantageous to be redeveloped. Homes are leveled and then rebuilt to the standards of these wealthy developers.
They just show that the city is desperately trying to get as much revenue as possible. So why the city wants higher end services is because they can charge more for them and they can have more taxes. The problem is when you have poor people, they consume less money, they pay less taxes, so the city doesn't make as much money. So there's always a push to put people with a lot of money into San Francisco so that they can pay higher meter charges, they can pay higher prices, because what happens is the city gets a tax on everything purchased. So if someone is poor, they're not purchasing anything, the city doesn't make anything. If someone's wealthy, that's who the city wants right now.
With the deteriorating buildings in the Western Addition and in the Fillmore specifically, developers had an excuse to rebuild the area. While the city planners are getting what they want, those who have lived in the Fillmore for decades are being forced out of their homes. Where these people go depends entirely on their individual situation, but most move across the bay to Oakland, to Richmond, or frequently to Stockton, where rent is far, far less expensive than in San Francisco.
Well, I mean, like, in order to like live in like low income housing or like in the projects or whatever you want to call it, like you have to meet a certain income, and so like if you rise above that income for whatever reason, like if you like get a new job or something, or like you get a better job, like, and your life supposedly gets better, like you get kicked out because you're making too much money now, and so like your life doesn't really get better, it gets shittier because you have to like move and stuff, you know what I'm saying? So like I know a couple people who like that happens to them, they got better jobs and then all of a sudden like they get booted out because they're making too much to live in low income.
The saddest and the most permanent part about gentrification and its effects is its destruction of neighborhood character. The people leave and bring their personality with them, leaving their neighborhood cold and empty.
You know what I'm saying? How you expect people to come up when you like keep kicking them out of where they live? You know, you can never like build on anything when you just keep getting moved around.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Like the culture, like does it feel like there's like a void of culture now?
No more?
Yeah, because there's so many people who are moving in and out.
Yeah, because like you never know. You know what I'm saying? You like living on the edge. You never know like when. Like you feel like you live somewhere and you feel like you can claim it as like your home, but like, you know, any minute you can be like somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.